In a world where gaming is everything, welcome to the Extreme Gaming Podcast.
Episode 271 Extreme Gaming Podcast. That's part of the blooper reel for sure. So, recording this on March 11th, but it comes out, we record a couple of days early. Welcome. Sorry I missed last week. Stuff going on. I'm Trev, your host for today. As always, today we got a full panel. Introduce yourself, boys.
FreeGamer25 here, and I think, Trev, you should change your name to Trev, as always.
I like that, actually.
Because that's why
I like
you
that. Trev is
always
sometimes. I like Trev sometimes, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I like that. Any suggestions for they'll probably be rude mostly. Write in and just let us know what you think. Boys, introduce it. Matt always needs a prompt to remind himself to introduce himself.
Go ahead.
I forget who I am, that's why.
I blame the whiskey.
There you go.
You be Matt.
So I'm Matt, Irish Guardian on Twitch. How are you guys doing?
Cool.
And
I
I'm
will get
Tom.
better.
Hello, everyone.
You have a website, Carl, do you not?
I do. Thank you. But I'm not going to shill for my website this week. I'm going to just be me.
Gamertech.
I've only got you on for your website, man.
Well, the way you can
I'm all
show
joking.
yourself is just say, "Hi, I'm Tarl from GamerTech.org." There you go. You're done.
So yeah, if you haven't already, people, please join our Discord. It's the place to take the piss out of Gray and Matt, mostly Gray. No, I'm joking. Ask questions about gaming, hardware, PC components. I know a little bit, but Tower probably knows a lot more than me. So if you got hardware questions or configs of PCs and stuff, that's kind of what Tower does as well as his other job. So check out his website for some of that good stuff. And you can come and just chew the fat. There's other rooms in the Discord, discord.gg/Extreme Gaming Podcast. We have an unofficial gaming night. I say unofficial because if I make it official, no one will turn up. It's like a subconscious thing. So it's like 8:30 GMT UK time every Tuesday. And we will play whatever game the majority of people want to play. Sometimes we play two games. If we have more than 4 people, which we often do, we'll have 2 game rooms and we'll just go and do our thing. And Matt's been really mature with his titles that no one sees. I love it. Why not? Keep it going, mate. All the socials pretty much: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Extreme Gaming Podcast, and Twitter X, Extreme Podcast. That is us for now. No more announcements. Boys, sorry I couldn't make last week. I watched the show. It was a good, entertaining watch. Especially when you two were doing your thing. Not so much that Grey gamer fella, but you two were more entertaining, so kudos to you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is he talking to me?
I think he is. You two, yeah. You two,
Unless
you
you can't
two
hear us.
fellas were stellar, even though you're taking the piss out of me in the comments. Right, okay. So
We're all stellar. We're always.
I had
stellar.
some stuff saved up. And so did Matt clearly, but we'll go into that. That's why he was late.
Yeah. He didn't have any stuff come up. It came out. It's the other way around.
Well, let's not stoop to Matt's toilet habits. Okay, come on. It's too much.
Well, yeah, a few weeks ago
Needs flush.
it was the Willy episode, and then this is
That's right. Don't make us go into general jousting again.
This is not the poop episode. Come on. I draw the line at poop.
Yeah.
You do.
We'll end up in the shitter if we carry on.
Oh
Hey,
no! Oh no! You're a naughty man.
Wait till I go back and edit. I'm gonna put a poop sound in.
Yeah.
Gray has fun.
Sounds
with
like-
this.
Sounds like Trev doesn't draw the line at poop.
No. I like South Park humor, my friend. So
You are wild.
I don't draw the line. I remove the line. I am the line. I am the line. I always like to remind you boys and gals out there of any of the free games that are about to come out, because a lot of people have, for example, Amazon Prime Gaming membership. But yeah, Amazon Prime's games for March. I bring them up if there's a couple of decent ones in there. You get Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. There's fans of Mafia, but for sure, give that a download. It's free if you've got Amazon Prime.
Did they do that last time as well, or was that the first one?
It was the first one, Matt. It was one of the other Mafia games.
Yeah, I grabbed this one because I couldn't remember.
This is what I call the Billy Big Balls edition because it's got like all the stuff in it, all the shinies. And another game that Jansen played, but he didn't like it, Mortal Shell. Which is supposed to be a decent game. The main character seems to freak me out a bit. He looks a bit like one of the engineers from Aliens, but like all in white. Remember those guys? They're like big, massive guys with the huge helmets that created aliens. Anyone seen Prometheus?
Yeah.
Prometheus, yeah.
They look like those guys, man. So, they are two of the highlights to look out for. Saints Row, the third remastered. That's a half decent title as well. And then, like last month, you had Wolfenstein and whatnot as well. So get those games if you've got Prime.
Trev, have you seen the title? It says Amazon has revealed the next wave of free, with free in commas, games on Prime Gaming. Do you think they're trying to make some sort of comment on the fact that we as society own nothing?
Well, it's technically not free because you had to have a membership for one. So when people say,
"Oh, okay,"
we're all guilty. Gray's guilty of it as well. If you get an Xbox Game Pass, that such and such game's free on Game Pass. No, it's not. You pay for it. It's just like a set fee.
But if you had to sit there and actually figure out how many games you could play versus what you pay, it's pretty cheap.
Oh no, of course. I'm not saying 100%.
Yeah.
I just it's like, but more for Matt and Tar when they say, "Oh, the NHS in the UK is free or National Health Service," it's fecking not. It comes out of our national insurance. It's just it's a set fee.
Yeah.
It's a set fee. We can use it as much as we want, as long as we don't die before we get to the operating table, because it's got like a 10 million year waiting list.
Truly free games are what Epic does, and occasionally when Steam comes out and says, "Hey, we got a free game for you,"
Epic's better that way.
And I will always claim the license if there's a tiny chance I will play it. If it's something like Mickey Mouse's Adventures and Winter Wonderland or whatever, then I'm probably not going to play that. But if it's something half decent, I will.
It just takes 10 seconds to do a few clicks, doesn't it? It's worthwhile.
Yeah, 100%.
It's time for game news.
Now, boys, next question. Who is a fan of Robocop here?
Hell yeah.
Course.
I'll buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for damn it.
For $1.
He got you, man. He got you. Like Matt sharp. Matt is sharp, especially when he's been for a dump. He is razor sharp.
Bobby, can you fly?
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
That was pretty good. Well done, Gray. Well,
Let's just do Robocop impressions and quotes for the next 2 hours.
You do a pretty good Peter Weller, to be fair. That was pretty decent. Speaking of Robocop,
That's good.
there was a Robocop game a couple of years ago. 2-3 years ago, I think 2 years ago. And there's another one coming out that quick, which is a slight concern.
Is that not DLC?
Yeah, I think it's DLC
no,
to
it's
the
a
other
sequel.
one,
it's a
isn't it?
sequel, my
Are you
friend.
sure?
Yeah,
sequel.
so...
Yeah,
Sure,
there's a sequel.
buddy boy?
So
Yeah.
is this the one that was kind of like an RPG? Because I remember my mate Frank talking about that, saying it looked really good, and I don't think it did.
No,
Was it good?
The last Robocop game a couple of years ago was, I think it was just called Robocop, and it was just a shoot 'em up. It was very, very good fun. It was just a kind of arcadey shooter type game. I really enjoyed it. It was made with Unreal Engine 5. In fact, it was one of the first big games to be made with Unreal Engine 5. It was cheap. It was reasonably priced. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It was voiced. Robocop was voiced by Peter Weller. Is it Weller or Welling?
Weller.
Yeah.
He is brilliant. He came back to do sound effects, and the way they done Robocop was just great. Taro. They because he can be OP, can't he? And not OCP before someone puts that bloody joke in. I'm getting there first. He's OP, so they do it in a kind of way that it takes his armor down if you get hit too many times, and he finds charges to top himself back up. He can upgrade his guns and his kind of strength and special perks and stuff. But it was the music. I remember talking about this with you boys a couple of years ago. It's the music for this. It's got the epic Robocop music, and it comes in slow at the start, and then you start. It ramps up perfectly. There's something to do with a score in a game. I know a score in a movie is really important, right? But do not underestimate it in a game. If it's done well, it comes in slowly as you start shooting a little bit and creeping around corners. But then you start really taking out the bad guys. It goes into full whack, and you're sitting there buzzing. You're like, Robocop, baby, and just smashing
Sound
things
is
up.
important, man. You know, it's like it speaks to our emotions, doesn't it? More than visuals, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
It does.
It all
does,
goes
it does.
together, and you got to know when to have music, when to be silent, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm,
I think it's the
there
same
was a,
game that I'm talking about, by the way. It's called Robocop Rogue City, right?
yes,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
the last
this is
one
the
that
one
came
coming
out.
out.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
one,
cool.
the new one coming out.
It's supposed to be prologue, isn't it, to Robocop? If I remember.
Says sequel.
Yeah, but like
Oh.
a sequel, but before he
It's-
gets Robocop.
It's
Is it
full.
a
It's
prequel
Robocop.
sequel?
The prequel sequel.
Prequel
Yeah.
sequel, yeah.
Well, the last game was called Robocop Rogue City, right? This is called Robocop Rogue City Unfinished Business. So it's a bit of a cheesy title.
Sounds like a
I
sequel.
like that or not. Aye, but the thing is, right, if you look at the picture, Gray can maybe put this into edit if he can be arsed, if he thinks it works. It's a picture of Robocop standing in front of what I can only describe as Mega City 1 from, help me out, Judge Dredd, yeah? It looks like that.
It looks
and
like
he
it,
was
yeah.
From that tower in the newest Judge Dredd film, you know, what's it called? You know, the one with the woman that like
from
was in
Game
charge
of
of that whole
Thrones.
tower.
No, it's
No, in the new
Mama.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
The English
Mama.
actress. Yeah. She was the Queen Mother in Game of Thrones.
Lena something. That was
great
great. I
actress.
love that film.
Oh yeah, listen, that Judge Dredd that came out with Carl Urban, it was I loved the original and I loved I loved the remake. I wish they'd done another one because I really enjoyed that with Carl Urban and also Mama as the bad guy. It was epic. But this will work with Robocop, I think. Going up a tower, just slowly but surely, like the second movie, that could really work. So
Maybe finished by lunch.
well, this is how you design a
Because
game.
Ed's
mate.
going to be there. Maybe Ed's going to be there.
Don't make him OP. Because that's how it works. I hope Mamba's the bad guy. That'd be great. We don't know much about it. We just know it's coming out in the summer. He's standing in front of Mega City 1. I just really hope there's a crossover with Judge Dredd. Oh, that'd be epic. That would be epic.
I hope they bring Ed 209 back as well, but with a better
you see him in the
voice.
trailer. You see him in the trailer. In fact, great. Stick in the trailer if it's not too long. I think it's only a minute something. Because you do see Ed 209 in that.
Is Ed 209 the greatest robot in cinema history?
Outside
Yes.
Robocop, of course. Yeah.
Just in general, I think.
I think he
More
was
than Robocop?
he was the forerunner of a lot of
Yeah.
the mech stuff that came out. I mean,
He was,
it was such an inspiration that they had mech everything after that, right?
True. He looks the coolest for sure. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
that. My only small concern about this, right, is the game is coming out less. In fact, the last game came out in November 2023. This game will be coming out less than 2 years after. So that is a little bit concerning because there's going to be a decent bit of copy and pasting in this. There's no way you can make a AAA game or even a AA game that quick of that
They used
quality
to.
without reusing a lot of assets.
Well, it's just
yeah.
half finished, Trev. So, you know, expect it to be finished in another 2 years.
It's unfinished business, it's called, mate.
Yeah,
That's the
there
whole
you go.
point.
The game is unfinished business.
So what's going to
I-
happen is when the game comes out, it's just going to be a bunch of art renderings. There's not going to be anything
Yeah.
moving at all.
Well, if it comes out, it could be really buggy, right? And then it'll just be playing into Robocop being really buggy. So it's your favourite robot. He's designed to have flaws and bugs, so it's fine. This game's unfinished business. Enjoy it or don't play it. But yeah,
What could have happened too, Trev, is they may have been working on the first game, knowing that they were going to make extra stuff, and they probably just pumped out some extra shit. And so when they went back to do it, they didn't have to do as many things.
Well, see, reading on a little bit more, it does say it's a company called Nacon or Nacon. It is officially a standalone follow-up, right? But while it's technically a sequel, it won't be as long as Rogue City. This is probably what they've probably done, boys, is they've probably just made a DLC for the last game, but made it longer, and then thought, listen, we can milk this. We can get more than DLC money. We can get proper money. And the thing is, the last game was just the right length of game. It wasn't too short, wasn't too long. I enjoyed it.
I don't mind that as long as it's good.
Yes, very true.
I don't mind
Quality.
that either, and I like it to be good. But if you're going to come out with a second one, and all of a sudden it's half the length of the first, let's say,
Yeah, the first one was a perfect length, so Gray's right. If you make it too short and then you start charging the same money, Tarl, that's I'm not happy with that.
I don't think I prescribe to this thing that says that, you know, a game is better if it's longer. I'd rather have a 4-hour amazing experience than a 30-hour
quid for
piece
it.
of
Pay
shit.
50
you
quid
know?
for it.
Yeah, okay,
That's
look,
my point.
there's it's swings and roundabouts, right? But in general, I would rather just have a really, really high quality game that I got a decent amount of enjoyment out of, rather than just the thing that comes to mind is the Final Fantasy VII remake, which was just so full of filler and crap that the good bits you just forgot about because the rest of it was just so boring.
Yeah. That's a concern. That is a concern. I hope this doesn't happen here, but we'll see. I think that'll be a reasonable price. I think the last game was a reasonable price, boys. I think it was like £30 or something. So as long as it's reasonably priced, it's a decent length. I don't want the game to be too long either, man. You just get bored. It's very difficult to pull off a really long game and keep it. A good example: The Last of Us Part 2 actually felt too long, whereas Part 1 was just the right length. Part 2. I always, and I love both of those games, boys, I really do. But when you're getting towards the last 5, 6, 7 hours, you're like, actually, I'm wanting this done now. I'm rushing through it because, and I don't want to feel like that. I want to be gripped to the end and I go, oh, it's finished.
Kind of like the TV show.
Yeah, a little bit actually.
Another story. Did you read?
Usually, if a game is too long, I don't finish it.
Did you read?
Sorry, Gray.
No, that's okay. There's an article that just came out recently. They said that it looks like they're not going to do Last of Us Part 3. They originally said they were. And now the guy that the creator came out and said, "Don't expect it, at all. If anything,
don't necessarily expect." I read the same article. Listen, they're not going to tell you they're doing it. They will do it at some point. There's too much money not to do it, and it's the trilogy. It's the same thing with Half-Life.
What happened to the article is it was a backtrack because the same guy, I forgot his name, sorry, said that they are definitely doing a Part 3 period, hands down. And then and this is going back like about a year maybe or whatever, and now he's coming out saying like don't bet on it. Like, okay, what happened? Like,
yeah, 100%. No, it's we'll see what comes of that. I'm going to move on from Robocop. This was something that we did discuss before, but it's only recently been brought up in an actual article that I read on less than a week ago, actually. We were all guessing that there's a decent chance that they might actually make GTA 6 $100, and I was saying I don't think they probably would, because that would be a special edition or a digital deluxe or something.
I thought they definitely would.
Yeah. The thing is, right, a AAA title in the States at the moment is $80, right? So you're not jumping up that usual 10. You're then going, whoop, jumping another tier. That's why I don't get that. That's why I think it'd be a digital edition with because it's very little effort, Tarl, for them to chuck in a few extra things. All companies do, all gaming companies, to make it that extra $10 or $20. Add in this digital crap that I never like. But there's analysts coming out.
You just said something that's real important. If they come out with the $100 version, they're probably not going to sell anything cheaper. So what they'll do is they'll come out with a $100 version and go, oh, but hey, you're going to get this, this, and this. But essentially, they're going to force you to buy it.
The base game will be $100. That's my prediction.
And that
with
would
a
be
small shark card or something.
Oh no, they'll throw in in-game currency,
yeah,
and it'll be
maybe you'll get something, but that'll be the cheapest price point to buy it will be $100.
It'll be £80 for us then, I would imagine. Then,
wait, I read an article where they said that there's a decent chance, a better than 50% chance that it will sell for more than $100. They're
not
talking
more. That would be digital deluxe then, if that's the case. Then, because there's only so much. Well, people will buy it, but you get to a point where you go, I would not buy it at $100. Let me put it this way: I would wait until I would just get a disc that's a few months old and play it in the PlayStation. Right?
The price of milk has gone up by double in the last 3 years. So who's to say that games aren't going to go up by $20?
Are you comparing milk to game prices, man? Oh,
you can put milk in your machine.
Yeah, okay. I'm comparing milk to game prices. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Hey, eggs over here are a lot.
Yeah. Look at the price of eggs in America.
I could get some flour. We can make a cake.
Get your own chickens then. Way cheaper.
Did you know the prices over here? 10 cartons of eggs equals a game.
There will be comparisons between milk and bloody games now, man. How many milk cartons then equals one copy of GTA 6? Probably not many.
Can you just see the scale now? You're going to see somebody come out with
give it a few more years and it'll be 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we had said weeks ago, if they actually do this, and it looks like there's instead of rumor, it actually looks like
it's looking more like
hands down they're doing $100. So now, as soon as that comes out, I just dread what's going to happen because everybody's going to start raising the price of everything.
Take-Two are one of the, if not the biggest. Them and Tencent are the two biggest game developing companies in the world, publishers. So you're right. Everyone would follow suit, mate. Maybe not 100, maybe 90. You're supposed. Listen, I think it's fair once a generation. When I say generation, a console generation, to increase it by $10, £10. I had no issues with that. That's inflation. But to then do it for that amount, and then everyone else does it and jumps it up another 20, I go, nah, I'm sorry, bring down Asteroid again. I've had this rant before about sheer greed in human beings.
Well, just vote with our wallets, guys. That's all we got to do.
Well, enough people buy it though, mate. That's a problem because it's GTA.
Yeah, but for every one person that doesn't buy, I'm not talking about GTA, because if GTA is as good as people think it will be, it might be worth $100. But you're saying is that all of the other publishers are then going to bring out their games at $100, and if they're not as good as GTA, don't buy it. Just don't buy it.
And we could have a crash. We could have another video game crash if they get too greedy. It's always possible.
I maybe I'm sounding, I don't know what, but I don't care how good the game is. It shouldn't be selling for $100. Period.
But how much is something digital worth, man? It's so difficult to answer that question.
Milk shouldn't be selling for £4 either, Greg. But what are you going to do?
£4? What are you buying half the shop?
Powdered milk now. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is,
one of those big ones, a big 6 pints is like £4.
Is that 2 litres?
Yeah, but see, I have to eat food, though. I have to eat food. I'm not going to eat my game.
That's Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. 6 pints is 3 litres then, I guess. I usually get the 4. I was going to say, wow. Is that the Cravendale stuff that lasts 2 weeks or something in the fridge?
Yeah. It tastes really good.
You're a posh kid when it comes to milk, Till. That's all that is.
I actually am. I'm a bit of a milk snob. I can only have Cravendale.
It's good. It's good.
UHT all the way.
If you get a cow, you can get
powdered milk.
Yeah, no.
Do you know how much cows cost, Gray, in this economy?
Yeah, but
my God.
Here's the thing, though. You can get milk, and then you can get steaks out of it. So,
But then you won't be able to get milk.
Oh, darn.
Just take little bits at a time. Make it last.
This is the thing with Grey.
It doesn't need legs to make tits.
Gray's lower than everyone else, so it's much easier for us to talk over poor Gray, because his volume is, I think we all agree, his volume is less than us three, so it's much easier. He can keep talking.
Yeah.
You have to turn your gear up, Gray. Anyway, right. I won't spend too much longer on this article, because it's been done to death. See, we're still talking over them. It's really easy. An analyst in the industry has said they reckon it could go up to that. So it's not just people's opinions, what it is, but it's actually someone in the industry thinking this will happen. And I'm leaning more towards it. I will not pay that for that game. I said to you boys a minute ago, I will just wait a few months that it's been out and get a second-hand disc for the PlayStation.
But you know what they're doing, guys? These stories, these analysts, they are just planting the seed. That's all they're doing, right? They're just they're preparing us to be ready to pay $100.
It's funny you said that, because that's what I was going to say too. From a marketing standpoint, that's what I used to do. This is softening the blow tactic. They purposely put out these articles way in advance to get you used to the fact that it's going to be 100. Well, it might be 100. Well, we think it's going to be 100. Well, I don't know. And it's going to be 100. So when it comes out,
and the other guys that could do it, Gray, they're because they're one of the biggest, they'll probably get away with doing that. So you're right, everyone would follow suit, because they're probably always going to be smaller than Take-Two. So
maybe
the game is amazing. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe all we need is Saints Row, a new game.
Does the saying "greedy bastard" mean anything anymore?
Yeah, there is greed, full stop, but then corporate greed's a whole different level. We almost expect that, but it's a higher level and standard when it comes to corporate greed. I want these people and these companies to make a profit. It's good for the economy. There's no need for greed, man. How much money do people really need? Right, okay, so moving on to my last news article, Gray. I would like you to add this little quick trailer in with Rust. A Rust update. I don't often talk about it because I don't play it much anymore. I don't talk about it much. I went nearly a year without playing it, Matt. You can't
talk about it, but we don't play it lately.
Well, that's maybe a bit more true, actually. The reason I'm excited about this, I don't like or love the PvP element of it, because there's a lot of sweaty teenagers on it playing it thinking they're COD overlords, right? And I'm not up for that. I mean, I can hold my own, I'm okay, but I get out of bed for different reasons in the morning. So I thought they're updating it a little bit, and this is a game that's updated a lot, and that's why I love it. You don't have to pay for these updates. It's monthly. It's called the Crafting Update. and it will be aimed more at the PvE people, which probably most of you boys, if not all you boys, are about that. I know certainly great and Matt are, and I prefer that. This update is going to have a lot of extra content to it that I would like to involve whoever wants to join us, especially the boys. It's out like literally now. They've brought out Cooking 2.0, so cooking was a bit limited in that. Food never spoiled. Which
cake you can never eat.
I don't know how I feel
I like
about
to have my cake and eat it, actually.
Why?
You can make your
can't
cake.
in Cooking 2.0. It's you have to put your food in a fridge now. I don't know anything about salts and stuff to keep the meat longer, but you have to keep it in a fridge, which you could do now, but that fridge has to be powered because there's electricity in the game. There'll be new recipes and stuff in the game as well. And there is a guy, for people that know Rust and like it, there's a guy, a YouTuber called Shadowfrax, who gives you the lowdown and the update every week that comes to the game.
Is that Gandalf's horse?
Well, he talks about horses a lot in it. He actually does a meme of a horse at the end of it, so it could be. He's an English YouTuber. He's a nice fellow. He's obsessed with pies. This guy, he's always obsessed with pies, and finally they literally put something into the game just for him. One of the new foods is pies, and they give you buffs. Just like the tea in the game gives you buffs. The pies will give you buffs as well, man. So
I like a good pie.
Me too, mate. You can't beat a good pie. Steak pie.
Is this update mainly focused around cooking, or is it?
Nope. That's the crafting updates. That's just one element of it. You've got a crafting station. You've got different recipes. You have to keep the food in the fridge, and otherwise it will spoil in a certain length of time. There is a couple of different. I think they've just updated some of the models and whatnot on it as well. But another thing they brought in, we were just talking about eggs a moment ago. A chicken coop. You can have your own chickens in there. It's turned into Farmville as well, boys. You can have a chicken coop.
If you think about it,
it's worth the while.
What does this sound like to you? It sounds like Once Human and Enshrouded. That they're bringing it up to those kind of levels.
Because it already had the other element, the PvP side, the puzzles, the monuments. It had all that. So you wanted to add the other PvP elements or bring them up to scratch. Yeah, 100%. That's not a bad thing. No. All great games borrow from other games. Not plagiarize, borrow. But yeah, so there's a chicken coop in it. Feed your chickens, you'll get your eggs, and that's one of the ingredients you can add into all the recipes you can do.
I want to make sure we can have a cow for Tarl, though.
I don't think...
Thank you. Appreciate
that. Unfortunately, no. But you can hatch little chickens as well, little chicks. So that's a thing. You can get them going. It seems like there's breeding here.
Can you have a dog?
Whatever does it for you.
Nice. Do they have pets?
No doggos. Only pet. In fact, the closest you'll get to a pet is a chicken.
Yeah.
No pets.
Great.
That would be nice, though, wouldn't it?
Chickens do make good pets.
You got bees. There you go.
Yeah, bees are in there. Matt, it's my news article, you dauber. Shushed. Right, okay. Spoiling my thunder, you idiot. Right, so food spoiling is a thing. I did say that. I think it spoils after 24 hours. Not in real life, boys. In game time. That's not long at all, actually.
Game time's always a little different.
You've got a thing called a triangle planter. So Gray was playing with this last time, the square planter. He was involved in the PvE stuff. You're planting the seeds, Gray, and you were putting the water on, trying to grow them. That was a square one. The reason a triangle one is a big thing is because when you're making your base, you put 2 or 3 layers around it and you honeycomb it. Right. And an effective way of honeycombing a base is triangles round.
I have no idea what you're saying right now.
Is that straight over your head?
Just do this. Just do I do.
It's literally a base. You make a base in game because there is base design in this game, and you get raided in it. Like a lot of these kind of games, someone can go and bust you up, and you have defenses. One of your most
is it a bit like Power World? You make your base, and then you got your fridges and your cookers and stuff.
It, so I'll take your word on it. What's another building game? Once Human.
We need to get Tarl into Rust so we can have a good laugh.
Daisy, yes, that's very true. The triangle planter is popular. It's been asked for a long time because you can fill in that bit of honeycomb it's going through different layers of armor. Think of it that way, Tarl, to get into someone's base. You have different materials you have to go through, different strengths, different doors and strengths you can go through. You can get auto turrets and shotgun traps and stuff to slow people down. But if you've got C4 or a rocket launcher, you've got enough of them, you're getting through eventually. So fill in these little blanks. It's for my OCD freaks like me. They like to have everything neat. and I'm what you call a base bitch. So I prefer to stay at home most of the time and build the base and build the defenses up and whatnot.
You'll make a good housewife.
Yeah, last time
I would,
we played,
mate. Thank you.
I did all that.
would. I thought so. Every now and again, they bring out paid DLCs that are like a bunch of skins and bunch of themes that you don't have to buy, but they'll bring out things connected with these updates that we've got out at the moment.
Nobody else did see that.
Nope.
See what?
Nothing.
No,
Don't know what you're on about.
No, saw nothing, my friend.
No, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened.
It's not as bad as last time.
What was supposed to happen then? Nothing. Right. Okay, that's good to know.
Don't know what you're on about.
My thunder that was stole a little bit by Matt was the beehives. So you can literally get your own honey. But the cool thing was you can actually trap some of the bees in a little capsule, and it's called a bee grenade.
A bee bomb.
Or a bee-nade. I think there's going to be a nickname.
A bee-nade.
And you throw them at the player, and it just stings the mother to death, basically. So I'm up for that. I want that. You can
I like
also
that,
make
but I think they should also have trained bees, so you can just sit there and say, kill!
Well, no trained bees for you, but you could get your own beehives. So you take your own bee. That's a thing. You could actually make your own one, harvest your own honeys and bees, and literally just set them on people like attack dogs.
Yeah.
A bee-nade. I like that. I do like that.
Loving your style, Matt. Loving it.
I love it. Pies, I said that as well. And then we've got an engineering workstation as well. People that like the plumbing and the engineering and the electrical stuff in the game. That's another thing you can dick about with if you want. There's so much to this game. That's why I love it. It's just so time consuming that I kind of don't get involved in it too much. So there's other things in it as well. There's a hopper. When Gray puts the trailer in as well, it literally sucks anything into it. Get your minds out the gutters. Sucks anything that's near it into it and literally rips it into pieces and puts it into the box for you. You see a dead player getting literally sucked into the thing and chopped up. So any of you boys give me any jip, you get shot and then you get sucked up into the hopper. That's
By the way, when is this coming out? Or is it already
It's out now. It's out now.
Okay.
It's literally out now. There's some quality of life changes as well. But there was a cool thing they brought in, armor slots. So a plate carrier, essentially. You can wear armor, but now you can actually, like COD these days, you can put in plates to beef it up. And if you get damaged, a plate's damaged, you put in a new plate. Another little touch as well. And then if you're really a proper base bitch, worse than I ever am, because I'm sad, but I'm not as sad as this, cosmetic flowers. You want to make a pretty base with lots of flowers and shit around it, you can. I don't think I'll stay away from that, because that's asking to be raided. Daffodils all around your base. So yeah, there's loads of stuff as well, temperature teas as well. It's literally, there's so much stuff, bread and wheat. There's other food components to this game they brought in. There is so much. But I'll leave it at that just now because we could go on for ages and ages.
One question about it. What about the longevity of the servers? Because the servers had like a limited thing before they got wiped, weren't it?
That is down to the game developer, Facepunch. They will never allow a wipe to go more than 1 month, and I'm glad for that. A Rust player never wants any different than that. I know this is not like the old argument we had in the past where we said in the past it was horrible that why can't you let a wipe keep going and going and going? Technically, if you could, if they allowed it in the game. But no one likes that because you want to be able to wipe and start again. The server would get ruined after a few months of running the same. Think of a server blade somewhere sitting there, wherever it is, right? And you're adding, say it doesn't wipe for 6 months or a year. You're adding more and more. People can build. You're adding more assets and more assets and more. The RAM usage goes up. The CPU usage goes up. You are smashing that server. Performance starts plummeting down. You can mitigate it by putting things in, like things will decay really quickly and there's limits of players. But Rust players will never want more than a month. And a lot of hardcore Rust players never play a month-long wipe.
Yeah, well, they give enough time to play with all this new malarkey.
With all the new
Do
crap.
they give you enough time? What do you mean?
When you think
to build and craft and play with your chickens and fiddle with your bee honey.
By the time you start doing some of this, the month is over, and you're like, that's it.
So then you just do it again.
You get one bee,
and you learn more each time. You learn more and more each time. This will stay in the game. It won't be removed from it. These are things that are added to the game every month. So you could just continue on this.
Yeah, but does the build time quicken?
I think they're going to lengthen that to like 6 weeks. with all the new crafting.
They won't lengthen it. They never have, and the game's 11 years old or something. They never have. I can't see that changing. And listen, if you're a hardcore Rust player, you only play for a week or two. Actually, hardcore Rust players play it way less. So, so anyway, there's loads of other stuff, premium servers as well, whatnot, and tweaks to the graphics menu so you can actually make it. Like DLSS 3.4 was introduced recently. I know 4.0 is the latest thing. That'll probably be years before they bring that in, knowing them. Yeah, so I won't go on anymore because there's literally pages and pages of this shit as well. I am finished my news. Sorry it took a bit longer, boys and girls, but these three were waffling in between and prolonging it. So
get your FPS on with hardware and tech news.
Taro, there's some hardware news that I want to hear about because I need to ask you some questions about the AMD 9070 XT.
Okay, so welcome to Taro's Tech Corner. Great, you're not the only one that has a corner. I've got a corner now, so I just want to let you know.
My corner's hard.
It's a generic corner. We all fit into it.
No, my corner is really welcoming. Anyone can join anytime. It's fine.
Warm corner.
Very warm, very, very giving.
Yeah. And watch as I delete your notes. No, only kidding.
No. So today in Taro's Tech Corner, I'm going to talk about two graphics cards. The first one being the 9070 XT. So for those of you who were lucky enough to get one, I think supply was quite good for this graphics card, from what I've heard. I've seen reports that Overclockers, which is a UK e-tailer, sold through 5,000 or 6,000 of them, which for day one launch is really a lot. Yeah. When you consider that I think there were stores in America, big stores, that were getting tens of NVIDIA GPUs, which is wild. So yeah, if you were lucky enough to get one, here's some little information that you might be interested in to get some more performance out of your graphics card. De Bauer, who is a German overclocker on YouTube, he is very technical, very knowledgeable, and I would suggest if you aren't aware of his channel, have a look because he's really great. And he did some overclocking testing on the 9070 XT. He found a few things. So the first thing is that just overclocking it didn't really give that many good results. But what he did find is that by putting a small undervolt onto the card, by I think it was, here it is, 170 minus 170 millivolts. 200 was too much and that was causing instability, but about 170 millivolts meant that his 9070 XT, which it has a retail price of $600, was outperforming the 5080 in Cyberpunk.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. Take a look at his YouTube channel. He talks about it, I think, in a recent video. There's some 3D Mark tests. There's some benchmarks in Cyberpunk. That's no ray tracing, by the way. That's just rasterized, but still, that's a pretty good performance uplift against a card that costs, how much is the 5080? $1,000?
Over, wasn't it? Over 1,000.
So that's wild. That's just wild. What do you guys think of that?
I think that's pretty brilliant when you figured out this undervolting trick. That's interesting.
I do have some questions that you might know, you might not know, Taro. The undervolting thing, genius, first of all. I don't know if that translates to better or equal to the 4080 Super, because that's what I have, and that's all I will really want a comparison to be honest with you. But I spoke to you boys about it, especially Taro. I was so tempted to get a 9070 XT because I'm like, listen, see if it's just slightly less than a 4080 Super. I'm willing to make the trade because I can get a couple £100 back in my bank account. The problem is, Taro, as you know yourself, you cannot get any of those two cars for MSRP, and that's mainly down to AMD not fecking making any. So the cheapest I could see an XT for was £630, and it was one model and it's out of stock. I'm not willing to pay a silly amount, because the retail, what is the retail price in the UK of an XT? £579, I think. and the cheapest I could find just one, is £60 more. So I'm willing to pay that, but it's not in stock yet. If I can get that, mate, I will get it, and I'll sell my 4080 Super. Do you want to know why? Because I can get £800-900 for my 4080 Super. Easy.
You know, it's just like the price of milk. What can you do?
Back to milk again. Come on.
Yeah. Sell your milks instead.
It's frustrating. It's the way it is. I'm just glad I could get a lot of money for my 4080 Super, because the one thing about the new AMD cards is they are crap at ray tracing, but I don't care.
They're a lot better. No, I wouldn't say that they are quote unquote crap now.
Compared to Nvidia, they are.
I think this generation, compared to Nvidia, they are not that far behind. Last generation, yes, crap. This generation, catching up fairly close, I would say.
Really?
There was two videos that were really good that Gamers Nexus did recently. And one of them was to what Charles just said. They had a bunch of graphs up there where they were running games with ray tracing and also what they don't call it ray tracing on the AMD card. They call it ray something. I don't know. Anyway, they were putting the scale up. Yes, it was still under what Nvidia can do, but the gap on the margin when you looked at it is much closer than it used to be.
Yeah, so, it's like 10 or 20 frames, you know, across an average of, I don't know, 100 frames. That's not bad. It's certainly a lot better than it used to be.
I remember when the graph used to be like way down here for AMD on ray tracing, and it, and Nvidia was way out this way. Now it's like, it's close.
But do you play, Trev? Do you play any games with ray tracing turned on?
I don't turn it on, mate. I don't.
Then why worry about it?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's. I wouldn't worry about it, but some people may worry about it. It's as long as FSR 4.0 is close to DLSS 4.0, I'm happy with that. That's the one that has to be close, and they are close. Mm-hmm. So I think DLSS 4.0 is still the daddy.
So does that mean you're buying one?
I can't get one. That's a fucking problem.
If you could,
yes.
would you buy it?
You should be able to get one. You know, the first kind of wave of stock has sold out now. When they get restocked, you should have too much problem getting them.
As long as I can get the ones closer to 600 than 700-800, because the markups are ridiculous. I'm not willing to pay that. If I can get the 630 one, I'm in, man. Because the thing is, you get the whatever it was called, the AMD. Is it smart memory or whatever? When you have the two AMD products together, GPU and CPU, you get a little boost.
You talk about this every single episode,
and you don't, and you never remind me of the actual name of it.
No, because I want you to keep bringing it up every single episode. I love it.
I want every single performance gain. So when Taro talked about the undervolting, I was like, if I could get really close to the performance of my 4080 Super and money in my account, I want to do that. I think so.
Yeah, well, I think it's worth a look. I think so. The main thing that I took away from the 9070 launch is that the 9070 XT at $600 MSRP is almost as good as a 4080 Super from Nvidia's last generation, but that cost almost twice as much. You know, so what that means is that Nvidia, as per usual, I mean, this is not news, but Nvidia are just every single launch they are bringing up the price every single launch. I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about the new RTX 5050 rumor in a minute, and it goes. Well, in fact, fuck it, let's just talk about it now. Right, so the 5050 is rumored, and Nvidia, every single time that they launch graphics cards, what they're doing is they're bringing down the performance, down the die size, and up the pricing. So if you look at the 4060, that's a starting price of about $300. So Nvidia haven't had a sub $300 card for a while now, right? I think what was the last sub 300? 3050? It's like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
5.
Long time ago.
So, but what's going to happen is they're going to release now the 5050, which will be an 8 gigabyte card, probably. But that will be about 300, maybe a little bit less, maybe closer to $250. But what we're getting from that is performance that is even probably less than the equivalent of what we would have had at the 4060 previous generation. So, Yeah, they are moving the goalposts every launch, is what I'm saying. Moving the goalposts, they're bringing the price up and the performance down.
Yeah,
and it's not good. But to talk about this card specifically, I think the interesting thing here is not necessarily that they're bringing a card out, but the fact that, hang on, I'm going to say that again. It's not necessarily that the card exists or could exist. It's the fact that they have previously made it very clear that they didn't want to operate in that sub $300 market because it's just not profitable enough for them. But then what happens? Intel start playing around in that price point, $250 to $300, and now we're seeing Nvidia rumors of a sub $300 card. So it's interesting because I'm not going to suggest that you should buy a card from Intel because you feel sorry for them or you want to help them to get a bigger market share or whatever. Just buy the best card that you want for your budget. That's just what you should do. But it's very telling, I think, that Nvidia have now essentially turned around on their premise that they were not going to operate in that lower market, that sub $300 market.
It's very gamertech.org of you there, Taro. I like that. I like that. You don't try to rip the customer off. You just like to give the best advice to that person for their individual needs. I like that.
We like to think that we do that. Yeah, thanks, Trev.
What was the rumor price of the 5050 again? Have they said?
At the moment, just sub 300, somewhere between 250 and 300. But if you were to take, then this is just my guess, if you were to take the performance of this rumored 5050, you'd probably see that it would be the equivalent of a 4040 when the 40 series came out. Again, it's Nvidia driving up the price but down the performance. Every time they are changing, the tier of graphics card that you get for a particular price point. And it's a little worrying actually, especially for me because I'm running a company that sells these things.
Well, here's a question for you boys, particularly Taro, but you other two chip in as well, just because of the job that Taro does. That's the first time I made that mistake, and it's so easy to do. Walking Dead. Cool.
It happens a lot.
So I'm wondering, Nvidia, will they care, first of all? Will they try and change things if AMD and Intel start tuning into their margin? My thought is certainly not anytime soon. The reason being is they make a lot of money for their server stuff and they're so rich. It's only if they start noticing a decent dent, I think they would change prices because no one touches them in the top end, as we know. It's the mid to low range that they are getting absolutely spanked. So do we think AMD gives a shit? Will they change things maybe?
I think
Nvidia.
They will. Yes, Nvidia. I think actually Nvidia have got a record of moving very quickly against companies that are moving to take their market share. They are a very aggressive company, very aggressive, and and I think this just proves. I mean, Intel have been in this market for what 2 years? When did the A series come out? 2.5 years ago,
roughly.
And now Nvidia are essentially just winding back. What they, their market strategy was, we don't care about this sub $300 market anymore. Now they're coming back. So yeah, I think they care very much.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Well, hey, competition is always good for business. I just hope Intel, when they bring out the next generation of GPUs, can compete in the high end of the mid-market GPUs. Because I think they're more low range, low mid-range cards. If they can compete with AMD in the kind of mid to mid-high, we've got competition in our hands, boys, and that's good.
Yeah,
because
I think so. And if you think realistically about what Intel have done in the GPU market, it's actually miraculous that they have made the progress they have in such little time. I mean, 2.5 years, it's about that. And this is a notoriously difficult market to penetrate. And Nvidia have got 90% share. I think they've done well to get where they are, and they're going to have a real fight on their hands against Nvidia. I just hope that they're able to bring their game and shake the market up a bit.
Me too.
Absolutely.
if Tarlin, your gamertech.org ventures happen to see one of these XTs at a lot closer to the bloody MSRP, give me a shout, man, would you? Because I'm willing to pay decent money for a card. I do not like being ripped off, though. There's a difference.
Well, I've reached out to my suppliers, and there should be more stock arriving in about 2 weeks. So I'm told.
And to be fair, because these are all partner cards, yes, you can pay more money for more performance, but it's not a massive difference. A lot of these partner cards, it's small.
Yeah,
it's little gains because of better coolers and better power management, but it's not night and day difference.
I think Asus have got a 9070 XT, which is their top card. I can't remember what they call their top card. It's not the tough; it's the one above.
Peasant edition as well.
Yeah. But it's like $950 or £950. And you know what the increase in performance is from the MSRP model? It's like 3%.
That's typical, man. That's
3%.
Apologies. The reason we're laughing is it seemed as if like maybe his lad was in the background. His little kid just went, and you know these like gas pressurized chairs, and just pushed the button and went right down.
He did it earlier. You guys didn't even notice. That's what I was laughing at earlier.
That was the 3%. I missed that.
They did the Gamer Nexus guys again. I'm mentioning them, but they did another video and they went back and studied all the way back to the 1080 Ti as to what the prices were over MSRP. And it was pretty good because when I
remember that.
Yeah, when you put it up and you watch it, you sit there and look at the
disgusting
increase. Back at the 1080 Ti days, the increase would be 10%, or whatever. But now he said that there's prices that are 45% and more above MSRP across the board. And most of
that's in
with a lot of these
NVIDIA
people selling the cards. A lot of these companies selling the cards.
Yeah.
And I think he said the average manufactured price, if you want to put it that way, is 23%, I believe. So in other words, as soon as they make their own, their own card off after the NVIDIA, they automatically just go for 23% above minimum.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's
insane.
Really.
That's absolutely insane.
The guys at the Gamer Nexus I love because I only watch some of their videos because sometimes it's a bit too much and too in-depth.
They're long, but they research their stuff, boy.
But no, like the amount of work they put in with the graphs, the research, the testing, man, it is thorough. It really is, and they do a great job. But
Gamers Nexus are good. You should also check out Hardware Unboxed. So definitely for benchmarks, they are both really good.
It's a Aussie team, so I love the Aussies. So tune in there. I tune in to Jay's 2 Cents because he's the funniest and most down to earth kind of guy, and obviously Linus Tech Tips. But they do a bit of everything, so they're not super just into that. Although they did make good videos as well. The other YouTubers are available. Other YouTube tech reviewers are available. Right, okay, so we'll move on.
Yeah, let's start out with some game news.
It's time for game news.
I picked up on an article that I thought was pretty interesting. Basically, what we're talking about is the market overall in gaming going forward. This research was pretty well done by a company called Media, I believe. Yeah, Media. Otherwise, it sounds like Media, but it's Media. And they were saying that the gaming market will never return to double-digit growth rates. And so they're basically forecasting out from 2025 to 2031. But some of the stuff that I was looking in this article is rather interesting. So I'll sit and get your opinions on what they said. Overall, they said the gaming market will reach $236 billion by 2031. Right now it's at 203. So it's going to go up quite a bit. In 2025, it is going to be 4.6% more than 2024. But they said you got to adjust for inflation to really get a realistic figure. So when you do adjust for inflation at 4.2%, it actually comes out that the gaming market is on a plateau and has been for a little while.
Why? Why, Gray, in your opinion? You might know the answer according to the article, but if you...
I don't know the answer. This is just facts. This just for us to talk about. There's no real answer.
Why do you think then, first of all? Why do you
My
think
thing is that they're plateauing. It's because we even see it. We see all the firings going on. We see all the crap that that AAA companies are putting out
profit margins
that don't match up anymore. I almost wonder, because in terms of actual numbers of games, if you're buying more from the indies, which are charging a little less than the AAAs, you actually could sell more units. So I wonder, money wise, I get it, but I wonder what it means unit wise. I don't see that figure in here, but I'm curious about that. I would think that there's more units in some of the people that are doing a good job with the indies and stuff. But hey, I don't know.
True.
Game revenue in 2025 will reach 203 billion, but they preface that by saying a big bet is placed on Grand Theft Auto 6, Nintendo Switch 2, and successful launches, hopefully, of Monster Hunter Wilds and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
So was it for new hardware? It would be even less. Wow.
Right.
Think about that.
So if any one of these games, Grand Theft's not going to bomb. But I'm just saying, if any of these were to bomb, they could just actually take that figure back down.
Can you imagine that if GTA 6 comes out and it's a buggy piece of shit?
Yeah.
I also, but on the other side, though, I think it gives you a false reading, because when you're talking about Grand Theft, especially coming out at $100 plus, and people are actually paying that kind of money, is that really telling you what game sales are? It does in terms of the gross amount of money, but again, we're back to the units again. I mean, if you sell a bunch of units at 100, of course it's going to look like you're rolling in dough, and you may be. But does that mean there's actually that many people playing it? It's kind of
Well, you got an influx of a lot more gamers coming in.
Oh yeah,
on top of that, so yeah.
Great. I have a question. I have a question about this. Do you think it's what's your thoughts on the cost of making games? Because it seems like the cost of making games for these publishers and developers is spiraling out of control. You know, $500 million, $1 billion that we're hearing for GTA 6. Do games really need to cost this much? Can we not make games more cheaply?
People are greedy, Tara, as I was talking about earlier on. So while I don't begrudge someone a decent salary, the competition is so fierce, especially in California and the States, that it's you're fighting for the best developers, and it's money. Their wages are really high, and it takes longer to make games because of how demanding they are. So they are needing to pay out these higher salaries for a longer period of time. How about we don't focus on AAA titles, or if you're Ubisoft, quadruple A titles, and actually just settle for something that's a Robocop, which was brilliant fun, and it cost less, and the development time was less. Just proof you can make good games for less money, less time.
But this is my question: why are games costing so much? I get what you're saying about the salaries and stuff, but can you honestly say that? So GTA 6 has been in development for how long? Like 7 or 8 years?
More than that.
Why, Tar? Because most of the
$1 billion.
Say you make a game, say GTA 6, for example, most of the money, not all of it, most of the money for making that game is going for the developers that are developing the game. But there's voice actors in there as well, there's marketing, there's publishing, I get all that. But the majority of that money outgoing will be in the developers, and their game developers are on good salaries, and I don't begrudge them for being on good salaries.
Oh no, me too. But in fact, I would say they're not even on high enough salaries.
But because games take so long, these high salaries times not just 2 years like a game used to take, times 4 or 5 or 6 years, stupid money, because they're aiming to outdo each other all the time, which is not a bad thing.
Okay, yeah, that's the sort of thing I was aiming towards. You know, what's the reason behind it? Why do they need to make a game that costs that takes 100 hours to play and costs $1 billion to make?
It's always graphical fidelity. They're always trying to do super shiny games that take longer, rather than focusing on good quality games that don't last for ages but are good narrative stories and are fun. I'm playing Astrobot at the moment. Oh my god, that game is great fun. Not super long, not super short. Didn't take them years to make, and it won Game of the Year. There you go. There's your evidence, people.
I think part of it is kind of like the stories you hear, or I have heard here in the U.S. when you talk about defense spending and blah, blah. And they sit there and go like, well, this toilet seat cost $5,000. And you're going like, how does
What's it made out of? Gold?
But when you look into it,
it's an expensive shitter.
It gets into the creative financing thing, right? That we talked about before. It gets into the fact that the CEO might be making half of that $1 billion himself, and then the other half is being actually spent on the game, et cetera. But I think as we see, I think AAA companies are, for the most part, they're all in trouble because you've seen the layoffs and everything. But when we keep saying this, but it's true. When you watch a developer put out a game like Enshrouded, Once Human, a couple other games, they're not spending that kind of money, and they don't have that many people working it, and yet they still put the game out.
So it can be done.
Yeah. Yep. So there's no doubt it can be done because they're doing it.
But if it can be done, right? If it can be done, and there's evidence out there that it can be done, do you think these AAA developers and game studios are looking at this and going, okay, we're maybe going to continue making some of these AAA titles that take several years to develop. However, why don't on the side we also make a Robocop, an Astrobot, and bring these out as well? So they've got a portfolio of a smaller, shorter game that's fun, closer to an indie. It'll get them some money, won't take as long. They'll have their live service game because that's an ongoing cash cow. And on top of that, the last piece of the portfolio is a game that is their AAA title that will take years or a generation to make. They've got everything, and that's covering all cash revenue side of things. You've got money in the short, medium, and long range there.
Well,
I should be a business.
Here's your theory. What you're talking about is logical. They're not doing that by logic. Okay.
No, they've got shareholders that are saying this: more money, more money, more money.
Look, there's a fine line when
that's what they have to do.
There's a fine line that when greed starts destroying quality, then you have a problem of things reversing. And then you have the shareholders screaming about that too. They're going like, "Ah, my God!" But this is when you like this years ago. You can't win. I mean, which sometimes I feel bad, not much, but I feel bad a little bit for what the AAAs have to put up with. If you're private, you wouldn't have to put up with this stuff.
How much money does someone actually genuinely, honestly? That's not a question I expect anyone to answer. It's just like, I don't need loads and loads and loads of money. I'm happy enough with what I've got in life.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Greg, crack on, my man.
Yeah, there's some other really interesting stuff here. The release of the Nintendo 2 Switch in 2025 should return the gaming hardware market to growth after a 20% decline in 2024. Growth of 8.4% is expected, so they're not going to recover. They're just going to come back some. Gaming subscription segment, where we're talking about the Xbox Game Pass and things like that. Segment grew by 16% to 11.8 billion. So that's quite an increase, 16%.
Yeah.
For all the services, and that would include Ubisoft Plus being the yearly thing and whatnot. Growth is expected to continue in 2025, rate probably going past the 11.8 billion to 13.1 billion. Listen to this one. The company estimated that the gaming advertising market is at $23 billion for 2025.
Wow.
Just in the advertising alone. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. That's a big stat.
Look, how much of that will be, when you're talking about this article in a year's time, Grace, say you do the same thing for this year, next year, how much of that's going to be of just GTA 6, though? You're already seeing stuff.
We mentioned it before. Remember when they were talking about the revenue growth, and they said based on 4 things happening. If any one of those 4 things craps out, it's not the figure's not going to stay the same. The good thing is that I'm glad I found this information, this article, because I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to start tracking it when I can. Here, get this now. I didn't know this. This is great. In 2025, 68% of all game revenue will come from in-game purchases.
That's lower than I thought it would be.
68%.
Wow. And this is despite Steam stopping in-game advertisements on their platform. Interesting.
So that means when you go,
they're talking about microtransactions, right? So
yeah, Gray, you were talking about Elite Dangerous. Yeah, so did you do that recently? Because I'm assuming Matt's going to be touching on Elite Dangerous shortly. Yeah, the $45 on in-game stuff, or was that a long time ago?
No, but I just, like I said, I just did this a couple days ago. But the only reason, the only reason I did it was because they have 4 brand new ships that you can't get with normal. Well, you can get the regular editions and on credits in the game, but you can't get the stellar editions, they call it, unless you spend some money. So when it went to 50% off, I went, damn, that's good. So I just went ahead and bought, But that's an example of an in-game purchase. But I didn't think that the figure was that high. 68% of all game revenue from in-game purchases. I'm like, wow, that's
I genuinely thought it would be much higher.
Yeah, I'm the other way around. I didn't realize it was quite that high.
When you consider, I mean, I can't remember the stats, but do you remember Diablo Immortal, when it came out, they were making something like 30 million a month or something crazy. It was just insane numbers.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, people
really
do
is.
anything
All from microtransactions because it was a free game.
The total number of players worldwide is estimated at 3.16 billion.
Wow.
You think about that. That's a lot of freaking players, man.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Of these, 2.8 billion. No, this is even wilder. I didn't know this either. Out of the 3.16 billion, of those, 2.8 billion are mobile players.
Yeah.
So that means that by far the mobile players outnumber us like gazillions to one. I was like, wow.
Yeah, great. Now I said this before and I'll probably say it again. Now you know one of the main reasons, not the only reason, one of the main reasons why Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. Not just for COD, that was a massive part of it, but the other part was the mobile gaming division.
Look,
huge.
in my opinion, and I know maybe I'm in the minority, but when they take Assassin's Creed and put it on mobile, and I look at the game and mess with it, it's shit. But people out there go like, "Oh, this is great," because they don't really know. And I'm sitting there going like, "Dude, man, this is awful." Anyway, they said
the game's like as well.
Sorry.
Good.
It's the games like Farmville and those types of mobile games that are built around microtransactions that are basically just a shop with a game around.
Yep.
Those are the ones that are pulling in the really big money.
I can speak for my own self. There's only 2 games I play that mobile that I enjoy. One of them is a totally like mindless game that you play just for the hell of it. And I'll buy a $3 microtransaction once in a while on it or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
same.
one. The other one is a tower defense game that I like, and so I keep going with that one. And did I buy some in-game stuff on that one over the last 3 years? Yeah, I bought a couple, but but that's as far as my mobile gaming goes. I far outnumber myself to that.
What's your other game, Gray? What's your other game? Your first one that you played? What's it called?
The first one? That was oh God, now I'm trying to remember what it is.
Because I've discovered Monopoly Go on my phone.
Yeah, I did Monopoly
Go,
but then I played it a bunch and then I got bored. So
bored? Oh, I see what you done there. Monopoly Go board game. Aye, that's fair. You're a walking pun machine, man. Well done.
It was fun, but it just got too repetitive, and it just I don't know.
Man, you're clearly shit at it, or you never gave enough patience because there's loads of things I've been teaching my mother. There's loads of stuff you could go and do and little side bits that you can't get pay attention. It is fun. Your point's valid.
I like the tower defense games. That's kind of fun. And actually, the one that I have can be played on PC as well. So,
what's your tower defense game called, Gray?
Balloons TD6. They've been out for a while, but they keep on improving. Oh yeah,
because you can play that on iOS, can't you? Balloons TD.
Yeah, you can play that.
Tower defense. That is.
And you can play it on your PC, which I do once in a while. But
TD.
And the only other game
TD6 that costs £7 to buy.
Yeah, it's not expensive.
I actually prefer to pay £7 for a really good mobile game if it's not got all the microtransactions and bloatware in it.
Well, the Balloons TD6 actually is pretty cool because they update it all the time. They add new little monkeys with different powers, and there's a whole thing to it. I mean, it's all of a sudden it becomes a strategy thing.
You play this on your iPad as well. You sit on the couch, don't you?
Yeah. Play on the iPad. I'll do that
when you're watching the American football, and just playing that and chilling. I'll do that as well.
I don't usually do that. Let's see. The Asian Pacific region accounted for 53% of the entire gaming audience in 2024. The entire gaming audience. It looks when you look at this graph, and I'll put it up on the edited version. They show Asia Pacific being way up here at 53%. Rest of the world 13.
Yeah, they are the kings. China is the king in the world when it comes to mobile games. Far more money goes into mobile gaming there than others because they're banned. But I'm just pointing out China in particular. They're the number one country for it.
Europe is 12%, Latin America is 12%, North America over here is only 9%.
Yeah, because you guys will get more sense. You don't want to be stuck on your phones and your tablets all the time.
Did you just say Americans have got more sense?
I did, didn't I? Damn,
what was the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Right. We do have quite a few American listeners, by the way, so that's all I'm saying that, and I'll leave it.
Our crowd is about split between the two, amongst other things.
Yeah.
I take nothing back, Americans. Nothing.
Here's company.
Certainly towered us.
We don't condone what Trev says 90% of the time.
All right, hold on a second. Dump Carl from... No, only kidding. So one of the other things, okay, there's another. It's loaded with facts to talk about. It's great. Company analysts note that 45% of the console audience makes in-game purchases. 45% versus PC, which is 36%. Versus mobile, which is 31%. They apparently are.
Wow, really? I thought mobile would be much higher.
I don't know. It's weird, but that shows the console people are buying more stuff on in-game than even the PC people do, which is kind of
12-year-olds with mummy's credit card, isn't it?
Mummy's credit card.
So let's see. Forecast for 2031. That's a little ways away, but still. Market volume is expected to reach 280 billion. Game revenue will be 237 billion, which is really not that much considering where it's at now, but it does increase. Revenue from the gaming console segment will be 24 billion by 2031, which is actually kind of small when you compare. Well, then again, you get the mobile gaming and all that stuff. The research says that they predict that the gaming subscriptions will account for 18.5 billion by 2031. So it's going to continue to grow. Maybe not as big as some of the sectors, but for them, that's a big increase. So apparently Microsoft did the right thing in keeping the Game Pass around or whatever. Here's interesting. They note that most of the growth from now to 2031 will be due to price increases rather than audience growth. So it doesn't mean that the audience may be getting bigger. It means that they're going to charge you a lot more. GTA. Interesting.
That sounds about right.
Let's see. By 2031, the share of in-game purchases and the overall structure of game revenue will be at 67%. So it's going to go up. They predict a few more points, et cetera, et cetera. Game advertising, same thing, going up. They think that the players will increase from 3 billion to 4 billion by 2031. That's a big increase.
Hang on a minute. Didn't you just say that the market is not going to grow, so the extra profit is going to come from charging more? But then you just said that
doesn't mean that. But they're only talking about players. They're not talking about what players buy. They're talking about how many players, period, are out there. You could be playing a game that is older and you never buy anything new.
Yeah, or free games. Yeah,
or free games.
And I hate that stat. That's why I hate that stat.
Yep. So that's
okay. Makes sense.
I thought that was very fascinating. All these different facts that I had no clue about.
Yeah.
Anyway, to stay on the Game Pass thing, we're going to talk about games coming and going. This month, a game called Monster Train is coming to the first Monster Train is coming to Game Pass because apparently they're going to be releasing Monster Train 2. So obvious
Never heard
right
of
there. Another game called Galactic Care came out already. One Lonely Post came out already. Enter the Gungeon, which I've been hearing about, and they said that this game is supposed to be pretty cool.
Today?
I think just came out today, actually.
Yeah.
There's another that's a shooter, by the way, too. That game looks more on the animated side.
Sorry, quick question. Are you saying that on Game Pass, games come onto it, but then they remove them? Yes, I thought that they just stayed on there for not indefinitely because
Really?
No,
they kind of remove them and then they bring them back after a while when people have forgotten about them.
No, I wasn't sure if you were being facetious with that question, Tom. The reason
because they own the IP, don't they? It's not.
No, but
not necessarily.
It's a licensing thing. See if it's a Microsoft game, and a lot of them are. It'll stay in there probably indefinitely for the most part.
Okay, right.
But otherwise, it's a set length of time. And even if it's a licensed thing, I'll give an example.
Yeah.
PlayStation Game Pass, right? PlayStation Game Pass, Horizon, one of the Horizon games, I think it was Forbidden West, after a year of being out, was put onto their pass because they don't do it from day one, as we know. But then after so many months, 4, 5, 6 months, they took it away. And I thought that was weird because they own that game. It's Guerrilla's one of their studios, but I think they done it just because they might bring it back in the future and hope people buy a physical copy.
I understand why they do that because of all the licensing and stuff. It's the same with films on Netflix, right? They pay them for a 2-year license, and then it goes.
That's why Netflix is making more of their own original content, mate, because the amount of money they were spending on licensing.
Yes, and then in that case with a Netflix, they can cancel the show even if it's good, because if they don't get more subscribers, they cancel the show.
Hey, well, Netflix is in the cancelling show business, right? That's what they do.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, it's not done by real ratings per se anymore. It's the more important thing is subscriber base. So if it's a really great show, and there's been some really good ones on Netflix, they'll just look at it and go like, it's been a year, and yeah, we got a lot of good news about how people like this, but let's cancel it anyway because we didn't get enough subscribers. Like, boom.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Game Pass. Mullet Mad Jack is coming out March 13th. That's another shooter. Been hearing a few good things about. But the 2 games that are coming out this month that I've been hearing a lot about has been 33 Immortals, which these games were on
nice.
These games were on the showcase that they had for Xbox, and that's coming March 18th. And Atomfall, which is coming March 27th. Now, interesting, Atomfall is done by Rebellion, who makes Sniper Elite. So this is coming out of something that's not like them because
they're not just a one-trick studio pony. Then
exactly. So they decided, and the word on it has been really good. That they said that this game, I mean, and you can see when you recognize the Rebellion touch when you watch the previews, and I'll put some of them up on this. You might be seeing them right now on the edit that I do, and you can tell it's a Rebellion game. And what I like about Rebellion, and maybe this is a good example for stuff that we talk about. I always consider Rebellion when they put games out to be a AA.5, and I know there's no such thing, but that's the best way to explain it.
You just make up your own. You're the typical Ubisoft guy. He comes up with quadruple A, and you're saying 2.5A. What?
I've been saying that.
3/4 is the better one, though.
At least I've been consistent.
That's true. Yeah.
But the reason
Ubisoft fanboy that you are.
The reason I say that though is that they don't go out of their way to make a really high-end graphics game. They make it look really good. And the games are great, but you can tell that it's almost like a realistic scale. When you see some of the companies that are spending all this money they talk about, and they go for ultra realistic, so their scale is way up here on the ultra realistic. Well, Rebellion comes down a few pegs, which means that the game will be less costly to produce, and the games are good. So, hey, look, when you see, and they may not be my favorite games, but when you see 2D games coming out that I don't like at all, and they're selling well, you think those 2D games cost a lot to make? No. So the profit margin on that is comparatively huge.
Yeah.
So I can't wait till actually the 18th and 27th. I've heard a lot of good things about 33 Immortals too. That looks really good.
Yeah, that's a big title I recognize.
And I'll tell you the good thing about stuff for us being gamers. There's a lot of freaking games coming out ever since January.
So what I always say, Gray, people that bitch and moan about, I don't know what to play, have a word with yourself. It'll take you a decade to get through your bloody game library, especially if you're PC gamer.
We get cyclical, that's true, but as far as some new games, wow, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike. I mean, doesn't mean all of it'll be good, but we'll see. We'll see. So that's kind of what's going on. As far as leaving, I can go through it real fast, but it's like Evil West, Lies of P, No More Heroes, Solar Ash, SpongeBob, and 2 Yakuzas. If you're a Yakuza fan, you're probably not happy because Yakuza 5 is leaving and Yakuza 6 is leaving. So you might not be happy about that one. But
hey, I'm pissed off at SpongeBob SquarePants is leaving, man. I'm not. I
that
want
was a
some
remastered
SpongeBob
one too. I can't believe because SpongeBob's older than you think.
Well,
right?
it's not remastered. See, at the end it says rehydrated.
Rehydrated.
Nice.
I love it.
I like that.
Well, SpongeBob is funny. The original creator of SpongeBob stayed with the show when it first came out years ago for a while. Then he left. And then even though they were still putting out some good SpongeBob stuff, it wasn't quite the quality of when he was around. Then he came back, and then some more better stuff started coming out of it. So
I was not expecting a SpongeBob little story there. I must admit, I did not see that coming, boys. Okay, I'll entertain it.
For your SpongeBob fans, 2 hours later.
Well, you've got kids and grandkids, Grace, so you can get away with really being a secret closet SpongeBob fan, okay?
You know what? I'm a big SpongeBob fan, especially the early years, the first 5, 6,
I don't think you need
7 years.
to have kids to be a SpongeBob fan.
That's what I mean. I like the first 5, 6, 7 years of SpongeBob because they're very similar to the way Warner Brothers used to do their old cartoons, the Bugs Bunnies and all that. They use it. They use adult-ish humor, but they hide it in what they do so that the kids are going like, that's great, but they're not hearing every joke, but you are. So. Yeah,
it's like the early Pixar films, right? There are loads of adult jokes in it, but it's really for kids.
Yeah. Last thing on the game news for me anyway is Steam. This is probably not a big surprise, but Steam just cracked 40 million concurrent users for the first time. 40 million. And Meaning that Valve's user count was bigger than 80% of the countries in the United Nations.
And they say the gaming industry is dying.
Well, that's only valid for as long as you guys stay in it, Gray.
Well, here's the funny thing, though. The 40 million concurrent users broke the record that they set themselves in December.
That was just
December
me
was
trying out
39
Elite.
million.
That was just Matt trying out Elite.
What was that? Matt? Say it again?
Wow.
So there you go, 39 million, and then they break their own record 2 months later with 40 million. So
They were doing something right.
Oh, obviously.
They're doing a lot right.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I still don't agree with the 30% fee, because that's just, again, greedy when Epic have proved with the problem that they are like 12% or something, 13%, less than half. So, yeah, but anyway.
The funnier thing, though, is they said they're saying Valve's sheer influence in the industry is only more shocking when you consider the size of the company. 336 employees in 2021 that we know about.
But the reason, that's another special you could do in Valve alone. The reason that's so successful is, A, they're not a public listed company because they don't need to be, they don't want to be. They have people that have worked there. They have very little turnover. There is a game studio, plus tech company, plus whatever else you want to bloody call them, hardware company, that are so good to work for, good salaries, you're happy, you like your job, you're content, you want to stay with the company. Why would you leave?
Yeah.
Why would you make yourself private? There's no need to.
Jobs very rarely come up at Valve.
Public.
Plus, with a low amount of people like the 336, I guarantee they're paid real well.
They're paid very well, yeah.
And here's another reason you don't churn out loads of games. Valve don't churn out lots of games because they don't need to, and they don't have the staff for it. They only usually work on a title from time to time, and that's probably because it takes a chunk of their staff that they need for...
Half-Life 3.
But what they do is they turn out quality, right? You know, they don't do this crunch business. They don't spend, $1 billion on making a game. They take their time, they make a good game, and they treat their staff right, and people work hard as a result. I mean, other companies could just look at them and say, hey, what's the secret? There's no secret. Just,
It's almost like
to see.
It's almost like they're realizing it for the first time. What a concept.
The reason for that, Taro, a lot of the time is because most of these companies that are letting people go, sacking them, is because they're IPO'd, they're public listed companies, and there's so much pressure from the shareholders. Don't be about money. Be like Valve, who are comfortable. Actually, I would say they're rich, but they're comfortable, they're good to work for, and they're not public listed. So
why do you think there was rumors earlier this year or late last year where they said Ubisoft is thinking about going back to being private? Now, they didn't do it.
That's very expensive to do.
Yeah, it's not easy to go back.
Would they not just have to give back all the investment money they got?
Yeah, someone needs to fork out a lot of money, basically. For that.
That's very hard to go back on, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Yeah. Not impossible, but very hard, very expensive.
Consider they lost market share by the gobs. I don't think that's going to be anything.
We'll never do a quadruple A game. I'll tell you that much. That backfired.
Anyway, maybe 5 days.
Maybe. What is that? Matt, moving on. Give Mr. Matthews some of the limelight. He's been playing a game. He's been playing a game that I've played. He's been playing another game that I haven't played that I'm tempted, that Gray's also played recently, and I want to hear about these games, boys. Go for it, Matt.
Cool. Okay, so the first one is The Division 2. It's good. Right, next one is Elite.
Oh, God. Sacked.
Yep. So Division 2 looks good. I got back into it after Scythe was playing it, and he kind of just mentioned, new season's coming out. Or came out, I should say now. So I was like, I used to enjoy that. Let me get back in there. I can't believe, even Gray was saying, the game still looks really good for how old it is. And it is brilliant. The aesthetics is just fantastic. A few things that I've noted was, I remember playing back ages ago with Gray, and I think it was Ruthless, I think.
I played a little bit with you guys, but I think I dropped off. We done a raid or something.
That's right, and I had my sexy mini machine gun thing going on, and I'm not allowed to use that. The watch things disappeared from my account and all that things, and those stats were gone, so I was like, oh my gosh, was this in a different game or something? So ending up just working towards that, redoing some missions. The only thing I don't like is the grunging for picking items for stats for your weapons to build up their damage, their repairs.
I hate that, Matt. I hate that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard. It feels like a university degree, and
it does absolutely. I think they've over complicated it for what it needs to be, and trying to find a weapon that's hard enough to go with, anyways, is ridiculous. I've been everywhere. I've picked every weapon. Every store I've gone to has got nothing but nonsense. So eventually, kind of slowly building my damage up and all that stuff with that, including with the armor. But yeah, besides that, it's been a really good hoot. I've been playing it on and off for a while for that one now. So yeah,
Matt, they've actually made that part of the game easier now, because when I've started the game, I started the game, when you had to try to tweak your weapons and your armor, it was a real pain in the rear. And basically what I did was I people were getting into the real minutia of that game. I mean, down to the barest.
Yeah, because you got to tinker.
I never went that far. I went partially that way until.
Who did we play with, boys? That gave us our first raid, and he's no longer part of the community anymore. But
Mystic.
What was his name? Mystic.
Oh, Mystic.
That was it.
He
was
would
really
get
good
to
at
the real
that.
minutia. I got part way, but I couldn't go all the way like that.
Yeah.
So what they did is now they've made it a little easier, so that when you go to do your weapons, it makes it a little bit easier to understand, etc. It's still involved, but not like it used to be. You know.
Yeah.
But the only thing is with Division, the reason why we don't get a Division 3 all these years is because they've been soaking Division 2 for 10 years.
Yes.
No, they were rumored to be working on it, and I think they cancelled it. I think they were struggling because it's Ubisoft.
The freebie one, didn't they?
They're struggling.
Yeah. I mean, if we ever see a 3, that'd be great. But the point is, 2, they just kept on introducing these season things, and I hate all that season stuff. It's not that.
Yeah, because you have to buy that on top of a year 1 pass as well. On top of that, which half of my missions are, or the places that I need to go are accountable for this year 1 thing, and I'm like, I'm not paying for that.
It's still one of the better co-op games around. It's a lot of fun playing with you guys. I enjoy it. And you know, if I would never go back and redo missions by myself or something like that, because I've done all that. But on a co-op thing, it's still fun. But it just pissed me off that they wouldn't come out with a Division 3, you know, and they could have easily.
Look at Destiny 2, man. They done the same. They're not doing Destiny 3 because of budgetary reasons and because they're making enough money in D2. So
yeah.
Yeah. I know we wanted to do a raid. Scythe was talking about that with his cousin, where you need 8 players.
Yeah.
So we get an 8. Give that a shot.
I'm tempted to maybe get back into this, Matt. I don't like the whole gun thing. Like I said, it gives me a sore head, and there should be an option to like go for the best recommended or something, because you turn into
equip the better.
You kind of need a math degree, another university degree, try and figure out what feckin' gun. I just want one that kills things and kills things well. I don't need to look at every single stat.
That's probably not your game then.
No, because the rest of it was fun. I like a good live service games, and I did enjoy that raid. I would maybe get back. I've got it downloaded just so I could get back into it.
Well,
but if you crashing on me.
If you play co-op with us, you'll have fun. If you go off to try to do it yourself, it'll probably drive you nuts. So.
Question for Matt though, or both of you actually, because you've been playing it recently. I have got the Warlords DLC, but I never ended up playing that. That's separate from the season pass stuff, isn't it? Would I run out of content if I just done Warlord stuff and not buy the season pass?
Well, the Warlords was a DLC.
You were talking about the DLC. You don't have the DLC and you don't have the season pass. Is that right? What are you playing then?
I haven't got the season pass. That's ridiculous. The year 1 pass. Forget about that. I'm not interested in that. I ain't buying nothing. But
so
I did buy
the basic game.
I think I bought the Warlord ones.
Warlords is pretty good. Warlords brings you into New York City, whereas the base game is in Washington.
Oh,
yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very good DLC, and like I said, they raised the cap. And
if you don't have the season pass stuff, though, do you not run out of content to play? That's my point.
Oh,
you guys have played this in the past.
Yeah, I mean everything is in other words, nothing's changed.
Well, you got the DZ zones, haven't you?
I don't even do.
And then you get
because DZ's PvP, so I don't mess with it. That's just me though.
Oh, come on, Gray. You can never play PvP games just because your pants
I did play it a couple times and I hated it, so I went back.
The trackball's not quick enough for PvP. I'm telling you. You play Sniper Elite. You don't need to be. You don't need to be really quick.
No, I don't worry. I have the clip of you telling me how great my trackball was, and I'll be playing.
Oh no,
I'll be playing that one over and over again.
Oh, no.
It was the one time when you were being honest.
Says it all.
He's going to put this in the fucking bloody video, man. Wait till you see it.
Yes.
I'll put it on auto repeat. Bring, bring, bring. In any case, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you got your DZ, which I was tempted to do to get in there just to get some better equipment from there, because you can go in there, clean it up while waiting, and then come out with the good stuff. And then you got your raids as well, and I think you got incursions as well on top of that you can test out and play as well.
There's bounties. Bounties are kind of cool. That's something different.
Yeah, bounties are good. I like them. I do like it. Bounties.
I'm tempted, boys. I'm tempted. I think gaming tonight is maybe going to be those two games. We'll see. Like, I was enjoying World War Z, and I missed out last week for personal reasons, but I think we might play that game tonight. But certainly Division might be in the cards, because they're games that we can just play together and they're fun, and most people have them. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There's a new one too. They were talking about for maybe playing. We've got several games out.
Yeah,
that are hearing us.
A hero shooter. I'm not really into my hero shooters, but hey, I don't need to play. Other people can play that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of us to play other things if need be. Anyway,
we've got a good little list that we can all play and rotate all the time now.
We can always add to it. It's like Game Pass. We put things in, we take things.
It's our own Game Pass.
Yeah, that's
EGP Pass.
Yeah. Matt, have you any more in Division 2 you like, you dislike?
No, liking it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they could change things to make it a little bit simplified. But yeah. A few bugs, usual nonsense, but nothing terrifyingly broke. I think you just have to make sure you do your side quests, because some of them you have to unlock before you can do a certain main missions throughout there.
Right,
so,
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool beans. What else you been playing, mate?
So I jumped into Elite Dangerous. I nearly call it Elite Horizons then, but yeah, you can call it that too, can't you?
Well, it was Horizons, then it changed to Odyssey, and then
it did, yeah.
Everybody just goes
which makes the launcher very fun to play with, because it's got 8 different versions, and some of them are they call not legendary. What do they call them?
What?
I can't remember now. Where you got like certain parts of the game that you can go into, but it'd be separate from the main game itself.
Tutorials?
Which is quite interesting. Huh?
Side quests?
No, it's
there's
the
on
game
foot.
itself.
There's on foot. There's space.
Yeah, there's. You know what? I'm just gonna pick it up and
exploration,
planetary stuff.
So your normal one,
which is new.
Yeah, so you got your normal game, which gives you the whole thing, including the going down on the planets and walking around.
Careful how you bloody ended that sentence, man. It was a pause at the wrong time. My good Jesus.
If you could add a little extra time to that, Gray, when you edited.
Right, Elite Dangerous. Let's hear it.
Yes. So, got in there. Launcher gives you loads of different choices, including your normal full-out game. So, going into there, I don't know if you guys still do. Yeah, it was a different version. That was Legacy. Legacy was the word I was thinking about, where it's separated from the main huge game thing. So yeah, I went into this normal one. I go to the open world because, why not? What's the whole point in going off to a private world universe? Because you miss kind of parts of it, I feel. But yeah, I did have issues where I totally forgotten what to do, how to do things. Just plugging in my joysticks. Luckily, I didn't have much to sort out. It pretty much remembered. Oh, yours is this.
Can you play with keyboard and mouse, or is it too difficult? Is this the problem I had when I tried to play it last time, and it was so hard to control the ship because I used keyboard and mouse not a controller?
I use keyboard and mouse and my Stream Deck, and I'm fine.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, I know quite a few people who use the keyboard mouse, and they're okay with it, including macros they use. Yeah, and then you got hardcore who actually know how to play a game and actually use HOTAS.
Like
Yeah.
Trub. Trub's got a whole
yeah,
fucking-
the full thing,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
and
it.
what's his name? Trub
Trub,
Shaw,
yeah.
our very own
Yeah,
Trub Shaw.
Trub. Yeah.
He-
Absolutely.
got
his,
everything,
his room looks like a fucking cockpit of one of those ships.
Absolutely, and so it should. Yeah. So yeah, other than that, I've been aching around trying to find out how to probe and scan planets, which I still haven't been able to do. I can scan the whole system.
I'll give you something to probe.
Yeah, I can get in there. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll try. It's a bit like a black hole. Anyway,
I threw him off,
so-
man. I threw him off.
Yeah.
He's gone.
yeah. So
Oh,
there's lots
Wayne.
of cocks around. I mean,
Oh, referee.
there we go. Woo.
elite probing. I mean, elite,
Yeah. Well, there are aliens out there, so you never know. You probably would get a few probings.
This isn't the pilot episode of South Park where there was Rochambeau's and alien probes, man. You know, come on.
You guys, I'm going home. There you go.
They killed the alien. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
eventually, I just ended up just flying around, getting annoyed with. I actually went into dock at a station, and I totally forgot you had to call these people and say, "Hey, I want to dock," and then it does. You either
Do you want me to
Flying.
just turn up at your house and not call ahead, man? That's just rude. You got to call
You
up
might
and
as well,
let them know
because
you're
everybody else
coming.
bloody
You just
does.
don't dock and...
the amount of people are docking into my helm. I'm telling you, without Blooming telling me about it. Take one step backwards.
long-
And, oh Jesus!
As long
I
as
forgot
it's
you were
just
there.
your helm.
Yeah. So and then alarms are going off. I'm bouncing off the sides as you do. So I'm just like, oh dear. And then I go in, I turn around, come back out, bash against the sides again. Oh dear, here I am.
You do know there's auto launch and auto dock and stuff.
Yeah, there is that for a bunch of.
Yep.
You can do that.
I'm not brave like Trevor. You can just fly right through it like nothing. Like
Yeah,
I
I
can't
mean,
do that.
yeah, I do it going in now. Auto dock me going into the hull.
To be
so
fair
I
though,
don't have to-
if you have a smaller ship that's maneuverable, you can
Yeah,
get in and out fairly
yeah.
easy.
Especially
But
because
the
that
big
hull is
ones,
that big
oh my
enough.
god, forget it, man. The big ones, you're bouncing off everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, true. So it does matter what size you have.
That's true.
That pretty much
Size matters a lot.
universal.
So, so what about Elite and not your Love Life, Spice?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the game. Brilliant.
He's got an elite love life. I mean,
yeah. I don't know what that red thing is. That's weird. Okay. Anyways.
it's probably the light on your head. It's the light above your head. No one kidding.
It's weird. I don't know what it is.
Like a bulb. You know how the bulb appears when
Yeah.
you have an idea?
Oh. Yeah, so I eventually did the auto docking in. I used to do the auto docking coming out, but then there's a queue apparently of non-maneuverable ships in
Sometimes,
the way.
yeah. But the auto
And
launch,
it's-
usually there's not much of a problem, but occasionally,
Dude,
the auto launch
yeah.
starts barfing and you got to go out on your own or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with those ones, I eventually just full throttled it out and smashed them out of the way. Going, nah, so sons of bitches, I'm gone for it.
Road rage, space rage.
Yeah, that's it. Get out of my space. Ugh. But yeah, so I've been flying around the system of Worf, gone off and came back.
The system will Worf.
Yeah.
Our favourite Lieutenant Commander's got his own section in space. That's
Indeed,
brilliant.
it is a good day to have a system. So
That's
there you go. Yeah, so I've been doing data transfers for space stations to what they call outposts on planets, finding loads and loads of planets and kicking myself again because I don't know how to use the blasted scanner. But other than that, I've been doing
Don't worry, I'll
those.
help you with that.
Bit of transport missions as well. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
I remember.
For that, and yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, the only thing I have is that the game just crashes randomly at any point.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't had any crashes lately. I guess maybe you just maybe
Yeah.
it's connection okay?
Connection's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would read the report, but it's all gobbledygook. So I have to
At
do
least-
my own
at least
report
it
on
doesn't
it
crash
instead.
as much as Star Citizen.
It does. This one crashes more.
no.
For me, anyways.
No.
I did put on there. There's quite a few crashes happening. I guess they're trying to catch up with Star Citizen.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, they did
So
just
there.
put out a big old beta, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Boys, is a lot. You've both been playing recently. Has a lot changed from the last time we were playing the game? Because you both played it in the past.
I don't see a lot. I mean, other than
did-
having outposts you can do from since I played anyway, and doing the what is it called? The big stations.
Did they open the what do you boys call in the game? The black, the big black or something?
Colonization
Did
just
they
came
open
in
that
like
yet?
a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh
maybe a
wow.
little more.
Okay.
This is what we've been asking for 2 years. But
I downloaded it, so I'm tempted, man. I'm tempted to get back in it. If you boys will help me out.
Yeah.
I
get some help.
I'm closing in on 3,000 hours pretty soon.
Oh, and I played like 3,600 hours of Rust as well. Wow, that shows you how much you love it.
I'm
That's
just coming up to 100 hours.
Oh,
that says it all, doesn't it?
I want to give you a cuddle. I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Matt's got a long way. He's got to learn how to engineer ships and everything.
Have a charity thing. This guy's only been playing this game.
Wow.
Some of the grind is actually a little easier than it was when I first played. There's still part of a necessary grind to it, but it's not quite as much as it used to.
Yeah, it's not too. It doesn't seem heavy at all on that.
It's an old game. It's an old game, boys. I think it's been going for a long time.
It originally came out wireframe in 1984.
Yeah. I remember that one. The massive book wasn't there. If I remember.
Oh, wow.
If you Google it, you can actually pull up on YouTube a video of the game running on an old computer, all wireframe.
Yeah,
it's been out
since 2015. This updated version.
Yeah, the newer one, right? The newest.
Matt.
No. So I've just heard news of the Silent Hill F set to be unveiled in an upcoming live stream on March the 13th. Name? Yeah,
Silent Hill F.
I know. I had to. I was looking through, going, "There'll be something wrong there."
That's bloody scary. That's what it's short for. Yeah.
So Konami has announced the highly anticipated live stream event of the Silent Hill transmission scheduled for Thursday, March the 13th. Be there or be feared.
I think this is their new one. It is
the new one.
It's a remake, you see. So
so this is going back. Its first announcement in 2022. It marks a significant departure from the series' traditional settings. So it's going to be quite interesting. This game is set in rural Japanese town during the 1960s, offering a fresh and eerie backdrop to the psychological horror. I was going to say thriller then, horror that have fans going mad, like myself, mad. The story is penned by renowned author Ryuk Shikishi.
Yeah,
brilliant. I was like, he's going to have to pronounce a Japanese name. This is going to be.
I met him just yesterday.
Was.
I think now I know why people keep these things. Ryukishi. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
a wonderful Japanese fellow.
Yeah. Some guy down in Japan. So this guy has worked on When They Cry visual novel series. Well, the character and creature designs were crafted by Kira, the Japanese artist. I could say that one.
Kira,
couldn't get it wrong, could you? Yeah. So, anyways, this live stream begins at 3 p.m. at PDT time. So that's 10 p.m. for over here in the GMTs. So it promises to provide fans with a deeper look into the game's narrative and atmosphere. Konami has teased that the event will include a trailer, maybe some gameplay excerpts in there, and possibly a preview of the chilling game ambience. So there you go. Silent Hill F is being co-developed by Konami and Neo Bards Entertainment. It represents the first original entry of the series since Konami's return to the AAA development.
Yes.
I didn't know they disappeared from it. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the game's producer, Motai Okamoto, brings his expertise from his time at Nintendo, adding to the excitement surrounding the project. Fans of the franchise are eagerly waiting the reveal and hoping for new mechanics and the return to the series' roots in the survival horror.
See, what I want to know is they should be braver and call it Silent Hill F Me. Now that would be
yes.
They'd get a lot of players.
Or Silent Hill, I shit myself again.
Yeah.
Or maybe Silent Hill, I'm effed. That would have been even better.
Yeah.
I would look forward to that because I loved the first two games. Changing scene to a different country completely is fascinating. I enjoyed the movies as well, even though a lot of people didn't.
I did. I loved it.
Right, okay. We have waffled even more than we usually do, which is impressive for us. So much so that we've got so much stuff we need to push back to next week. But as we say, never a bad thing. There's always plenty of content. And I would much rather we always go on tangents because it makes for a more interesting show. We have to do a bunch of stuff. Sorry, boys. You see that, Matt stuff, Grey stuff, but we'll cover it next week. We do have time for the quiz as always. We need to fit that in. So go away, Mr. Grey Gamer Quizmaster.
Get your hand on the buzzer for the world-famous Extreme Gaming Quiz.
So I'm going to read these. I picked a couple different types of questions, but let's see. Question number 1. What does the acronym MOBA, M-O-B-A, stand for? What does the acronym MOBA stand for?
Online.
That's a big ass.
Big assets.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Multiplayer online.
Multiplayer
online. Battle arena.
Matt, we could get it. Battle arena.
And guess
Battle
what?
Arena.
Trev's going to hate this again. Ding, ding, ding. That's right.
That's always right. Get
Multiplayer online battle arena.
Right. I was wrong with
Battle
one.
Arena. What
You're
does that
wrong-
even
you're wrong
mean?
occasionally.
So you know, like Dota 2 and League of Legends, that type of nonsense.
I hate those games.
Yeah,
with
the shite that
passion.
people pretend are
my!
games and they're just there having a little. Anyway,
They are some of the most popular games in
They
PC
are.
of all
I'm
time.
just jealous 'cause I
can't
can't.
complain.
We've got so many acronyms for stuff now in gaming. Used to be just 1 or 2
Yeah.
acronyms.
God.
Now there's like a whole bunch of them. They're what? What's it called? All right, number
Right.
2. Number 2.
Yep.
Roger Wilco is the main character in Space Quest. True or false?
I have no idea, but I'm gonna go with
That's a game.
yeah.
Mhm.
Is it?
Roger Wilco is the main character in Space
Roger
Quest.
Wilco.
True or
That-
false?
That's a thing though. Like in real life, people go Roger Wilco.
Yeah, right.
From a
Roger,
game?
Roger. What was the question again?
I'm just
True or false?
True.
True. Yeah, true.
Absolutely true.
This is being
Guess
pretty
what?
false, isn't it?
You both are right this time. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
Never
it's
seen
true.
this or even played it, so yeah.
It was so random for you to put in. It couldn't be false. That's why. So.
Question number 3. What is the name of the main antagonist in the Resident Evil series? What is the name of the main antagonist in the Resident Evil series?
Oh, Wesker.
Wesker, yeah.
Matt?
Wesker.
You
Yeah?
guessed. You
Albert.
copied me.
No, I know. No.
Get,
I didn't
I
do
love
that.
Resident Evil. I adore Resident
I
Evil.
will tell you that you both are correct. However, do either one of you know what his first name is? So
Who cares?
curious.
Nobody goes by
cares?
his first name.
Great. Who cares?
Wes, no, I
Albert.
don't. No. Cecil. Cedric.
It counts on you
Billy.
being correct. By the way.
Gary.
I was just curious. No,
Gary?
Cecil.
Gary?
No, it was Albert.
Percy.
Albert.
Albert went.
Albert
Yeah,
Wesker.
yeah.
That's it for the gaming
Yes.
quiz this week.
Yeah, Matt always wins it, man.
Tune in again next week for another one.
Yes. Thank you very much for your patience, guys. A lot more content for next week, so we will be back next week as always. Thank you for your patience, boys and girls. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you.